Good afternoon, Lieutenant Spencer with the Montgomery County Sheriff's Office, and thank you for being here. Today we're here to discuss the arrest of Epifanio Adolfo Jimenez, who was arrested for aggravated sexual assault of a child by the Montgomery County Sheriff's Office. What we can tell you is during the investigation it was discovered that Mr. Jimenez was targeting women and children through a dating app in which he was asked to spending time with the children while talking to the females through the dating app. We can say that one app that he was using, he used the alias Harley as his profile name on the application. Right now we're asking, we have some information that could lead us to believe that Mr. Jimenez possibly has other victims due to his reach with social media and the dating app, so we're seeking the help of the public, anybody that has been left alone with Mr. Jimenez or children that have been left alone, to contact the Montgomery County Sheriff's Office.
Do you know how about long the time that he's been on the dating app? To kind of, has it been like a grooming situation where he started and then, or do you have a timeline of maybe how long he's been doing this?
Well, we can say that the sexual assault occurred several years ago, so there is the potential that this was over years of time that he's been out there doing this. So the current offense that he's been arrested for was due to years have passed since then, since the offense occurred.
This is certain offense that we're talking
yes.
about right now.
Can you give us a specific year?
I don't have the year. I just know that it was several years ago.
And the outcry was made?
Yeah, so what we can tell you is that a juvenile made an outcry that she was sexually assaulted by the suspect. The victim's mother reported that to law enforcement, and based on the detective interview and the evidence gathered, a judge issued a warrant for his arrest. So, and during the investigation, that's when detectives also found out that Mr. Jimenez was on probation out of Galveston County for online solicitation of a minor.
Can you talk to us just about, I know you can't give us names or identities, but how you ended up with this minor alone?
I can't go into details without divulging some of the stuff that shields them.
But the prior, it sounds like he did have priors in Galveston County for similar children involved crimes that was already on probation for that?
That's correct, yes. And then now this new offense came up. So based on the reach, based on the social media access that he has, and based on some of the other evidence that we have through digital evidence and so forth, we believe that there could be other victims out there that Mr. Jimenez may have hurt. So we're seeking the media's help and public help getting the message out to have anybody that has been left alone with Mr. Jimenez or anybody that may have some information regarding this to contact the Montgomery County Sheriff's Office.
What would you say to parents? Dating apps are now being used regularly, it's normal. What would you say to somebody who's out there dating about bringing someone who is unknown to them, who maybe don't know exactly who they are around their children, and what advice you would give as law enforcement there?
Well, I would say that regardless if it's bringing them around their children or themselves, that they need to be very cognizant of the person that they're talking to. And you know, if there's a gut feeling that something's wrong, it's probably wrong. You know, but there's numerous commercial databases that you can use that you can check the backgrounds on individuals, verify. You know, go slow. There's no rush or hurry. Meet them in public places. Video chat with them before you share information. You know, continue the texting and dialogue with them until you feel comfortable with them, and then start the face-to-face meetings in public places before. And then obviously, I think parents know best. Bringing their kids around someone that they just met when that's an appropriate time for them. But there's a lot of resources online. There's a lot of things you can do before you get to that first step. And obviously, with COVID and the restrictions that had been there, a lot of people have resorted to online, dating and messaging. So it's important to be very, very careful when using those apps.
Do you know how long this relationship may have lasted? Was it, 1 or 2 dates? Did it turn into an actual relationship?
So it wasn't an actual relationship that happened there. There was some familiarity between the victim and the suspect, so that's kind of all I can say with that.
So they felt comfortable bringing?
Yes.
And also, too, I guess, as far as you're calling for more victims, do we think that he has spread all across, lines from Harris and Montgomery, kind of all across the area? He had priors in Galveston.
You're exactly right. I mean, the online dating apps and or his reach, we you can reach anywhere by setting your geographical area on the app. So, you know, you pull in more, as we would say, as victims or prey, it could expand his area quite large. So that's why we wanted to get the message out to try to hit not just Montgomery County, and obviously we have a case in Galveston County where he's on probation, but Harris County and the surrounding areas. There's just no telling where his reach is, so we want to make sure we're extremely thorough.
Had this victim done their research like you suggested, would they have been tipped off?
It's hard to say. I mean, that would be me armchair quarterbacking a victim, and I'm not going to do that.
No, that's what I'm asking, because he obviously has a prior criminal record. So had they done, in this particular case, had they done their research, is that record would have been public?
That record is public for anyone to have seen. That's why it's very important to do your own investigation, your own background into individuals that you meet online, use online dating apps, or just, you know, meet somebody at a grocery store. You know, just be diligent when you're doing it.
You also said he wasn't using his right.
That's correct. Yeah, and that should be another, you know, flag if somebody's using a first name. And of course, for safety reasons, I would expect everybody to use maybe a first name or an alias when they start out. But as you become closer to them or familiar with them, you should make sure that you start identifying them, get more information, then do your checks on that, and make sure that that everything checks out.
And most recently, this victim, the son or daughter of this woman, had come forward. Is that why this is being brought to light most recently? Do you know when they reported this?
It was just recent that they reported it. So it was put in the hands of our law enforcement agents, and then we immediately took action. Our detectives
were able to locate him in a matter of weeks.
Yes. It was very quickly. We knew the identity of him. It wasn't that we wouldn't. The victim knew the identity of him. So we were able to, you know, gather the forensic evidence. We scheduled the victim for a forensic interview to make sure that she was taken care of, and then had the victim interviewed by specialists, and then we corroborated a lot of what she said based on evidence, and then obviously a judge agreed with us and issued a warrant.
So the victim made the outcry just recently, but the assault took place maybe years ago?
That's correct.
And the suspect, he is right now locked up in Montgomery County Jail?
That's correct.
I was reading the affidavit again without going into detail about the victim. She made the outcry, but she may have been mom or somebody in the family may have found out about the Galveston stuff, and that wasn't alarmed. Did I read that correctly?
I have not read the affidavit, so I don't know if that's correct or not. I have not read the affidavit. I just have what was given to me. All right. Is that all your question? Okay. Thank you all very much. Appreciate it.